Hello and welcome everyone to Book Marketing Fridays. My name is Shanon, writing the pen name of S.C. Huston, author of A Curse of Scales and Feathers and A Curse of Wings and Gems, and now the Florist Budding Desire. And today's goal of this stream is to look at my book marketing. So I'm give an update on what I've been doing and how that's turned out, and then give my intentions for what I'm going to work on today during the 1 hour sprint that's book marketing specifically for me, and then come back and say what I was able to accomplish. And of course, you're welcome to use the sprint whichever way works for you, whatever productivity that you might need. And so I'll say hello because there's people here. I think I've started the last couple Fridays and there's nobody here in the beginning. But I haven't sprinted on a Friday in like forever. Actually, when I first started doing sprints on my channel, it was only Fridays. It was Friday mornings. And then I switched to doing during the week, and I took off Fridays. But hello, Mars. How's it going? Currently eating PB and tortilla from an MRE. I posted some artwork to eBay. Ooh, can you share a link? Do you share on Etsy? I don't go on to eBay. Like there was just a bad experience. We like all of us chipped in. My family chipped in 1 year to buy like this really expensive like coat for my mom. It was like $500 or something, and we never got the coat, and we couldn't get our money back. So I do not use eBay because of that. I know that maybe there's probably better restrictions or sanctions or whatever you would call that now. But yeah, I don't. But I if I get like stuff made by people like artwork, I usually go to Etsy, and or if you're selling it another way besides eBay, whatever other way you might sell it, I'd love to know. But feel free to drop your eBay link for any of us as well. And just figuring out what to do next. Okay. Let me eat first. Maybe you'll figure it out while you're eating, right? I just did have a piece of chocolate. So hi, Victoria. How's it going? Hope all is well. Courtney, hello. Working on marketing for a client, then reading. Oh, so we're both going to be working on marketing. Maybe slightly different marketing, but yeah. Love this intro, by the way. Thank you. I've been thinking about changing it. Changing a lot of this stuff because I end up changing my book cover for the Florist Budding Desire. It's not much different. It's just slightly different because the one that I have on the screen is one that I made, but I also have some AI in it. So I didn't want to use it as my actual book cover. And so I had hired a company to do it, and I showed them the book cover I made, and the book cover they made looked just like mine. But there's differences to it. But let's see if you guys can see it. It's about to pop up here. Okay, there it is. There's the one that I made. And here's the one that the company made. Very, very, very similar. So, but yeah. So I wanted to change everything out, plus get some of my new book stuff in there. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do yet with that. All right, go back to comments. Wow, there's lots of people here. Hello, guys. Hello. I've been it's just been kind of empty here since I started streaming on Fridays. It was like kind of empty. There's been a few people, but not that many. Hi, Andy. How's it going? Moons, hello. How's it going? Greetings and highs. Hi, Miss Page. Miss Page, hello from Andy. I'm negotiating with myself about working on the newsletter stuff. I did some negotiating with myself earlier today with newsletter stuff. And I was like trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do. Like I made a plan for the whole year and I decided to change it. And I had to do some negotiating, writing down pros and cons list this morning. That's outrageous. How come eBay didn't step in? Yeah, I actually don't remember. I remember my dad was handling it. And so I don't know what happened, but my dad was really good at getting whatever money was owed to us, whatever it was. Because I remember like my first accident, a car accident, wasn't my fault. And I had just paid off my car. And the insurance of the other driver was only going to give me $2,000. And it was like I couldn't even get another car with that. And he went back in there and talked with the insurance agent and came out with $5,000. So he was good at getting money. So I don't know why we never did get that back, but yeah. Hugs and hugs and happy Friday to Andy. Hey, Jen. Hi, JC. Hope you're having a great day so far. It's been good. Hi, everyone. I'm still new to putting my work out there, so just an eBay link right now, except for my Printful store. Okay. Yeah, definitely check it out. Does anyone have experience using BookBub author website services? Are you talking about like doing like ads or other stuff? So I've done some things with BookBub. I've never done their ads. That's my next thing that I'll try, but not anytime soon. Maybe later this year. I've done like their new releases for less. But that's really, really expensive. It was expensive when I did it a couple years ago, and I don't remember what I paid, but I just looked into doing it for my next book coming out, and it was going to be $493. And I know that's not what I paid, because I think I paid less than $300 between two different promotions I did a couple years ago on A Curse of Scales and Feathers. And they were both less than $300 together. They were less than $300. So I don't know. Now it was like $493. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, but otherwise, I don't know. There's other things with BookBub that, I would say if you are an author, it's good to get on BookBub and build your community there if you can, start building your community there. People who are part of your community already, if they go over there and they recommend your book and they leave reviews, other people, it will become more organic for other people to find you, then they will follow you. And when you release your book, if you claim your book before your release date, they will send a new release alert out to everybody who's following you. And it's for free. You don't have to do it. It used to be you had to request the new release alert, but it was free. Now you don't even have to do it. Now it's just an automatic process. You just have to claim your book within such a time frame. I think it's like a week or something. You have to make sure you claim your book within that week or 3 days or something. I think so that they can make sure that you are the author tied to that book. But yeah, so I make sure I always go over there and I claim all my books. I've been doing that as part of my process. I do. So I don't know what else you might be looking for, Andy. Hopefully I answered some questions there or offered some insight. Hello, Adega. How's it going? Hope all is well with you. I host my writing group early morning Friday. So this later sprint popped up just when I needed a nudge to get back to my computer. Awesome. I'm glad it worked out that way. No actual website. Oh, host it. Never mind. No, I don't know about that. I'm aware that BookBub now does host websites by BookBub. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. It looks kind of like I code my website. So I knew that BookBub, what they were offering, looks like it'd be something. It's cheap. Yes, it seems cheaper than where I'm with SiteGround. Yes, it's a very cheap option, but not a lot of like, I don't think you can do like any of your own coding and stuff like that, which for a lot of people are probably like, yeah, good. I don't want to have to do any coding. It looked like it was easy to, drop in what you need. Sort of like what Wix was back in the day, when the Wix was a free site, when you could use the free site, but you didn't get like the URL. And with BookBub, I think I'm not really sure on that part. Let me not say that because I don't actually know that part, but it looks a lot like what Wix was. At least that's what it appears from the outside. I've not actually gone into the back end dashboard to look at it, but it looks like what Wix started out as, where you could just drop in what you want. Like, okay, here's an image block, here is a text block. And then all you do is just fill in the information or attach your image, which is much easier than coding. Authorwebsites.bookbub.com. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know as much about that one. One of the authors in my Heart Breathings Mastermind has her author website and blog on the free BookBub templates. It does seem like it would be very easy for authors to use. I went and checked it out when I first heard of it. I went and checked it out just to see what it would do. But again, it didn't. From what I remember, I couldn't code anything. So, and I like to be able to code. The website by BookBub doesn't look like it's free. I figure it's cheaper for a reason. Yeah, I think it's cheaper because you don't have much. What was I trying to say? Choices. That's what I was trying to come up with. You don't have a lot of choices of what you can choose of how you want your site to look. I think it's more than what like Story Origin. Like Story Origin, you can now set up your storefront on them and sell your books through them. And so it's like a little website, but you don't get a whole lot of choices of what that looks like. There's limitations on what you can choose. Yeah, she says it's not fancy. Everybody's site looks the same, but that works for her because she needed low tech to start. Yeah, that's it. If you're one who's like, I don't want to have to worry about coding. I don't want to put a lot of energy into thinking about what it should look like, then I think BookBub is a good one. What I did remember thinking when I was looking at it. So when BookBub is making these sites for authors, that's different than like a Wix, where Wix could be for like any business. So BookBub did try to set it up, or it would be set up so you would be able to set up your website that would be common to what author websites would look like, if that makes sense. So there was a lot of good things about it. It was cheap, and I thought that would be easy. But again, I do a lot of my own coding. So, all right, that's the last comment. All right, so okay, update on what I've done. Just kind of recap. So I did one ad for A Curse of Scales and Feathers in February, just to learn the ropes, figure out what Facebook ads is all about. And I'm talking about Facebook ads. Sorry, I should have said that first. So Facebook ads. So I did one ad. Overall, I think I did really well. I definitely had a huge sales bump when I did the ad, and I was running it to the book when it was 99 cents. So from that, I was able to develop, some ads. These are the ads that I came up with next when I decided to see what I could do for running to a full price book. And I started off running these at $3 per day. Now, good. Okay. Yeah. So there's a $3 a day. And I was getting some really strong engagement with like all four of them. There was definitely some winners, and it kept going back and forth between 2 and 3, which one was like the winner. And the click-through rates were ranging from 9% to 16%, and the cost per click between roughly 11 cents and 18 cents, which, as a reminder, so like what my percentage rate for my click-through rate, it falls in the very good to excellent range. Because good range is 3 to 6%, and mine are 8 to 16%, and 10% is like excellent. And then for the CPC, I am falling in the good range for that one. So below 10% is excellent. Good is 10 to 20 cents. So overall, these 4 have done well. There is a clear weaker one, which is number 1, which I think is really interesting. You guys, I use AI to help me in different things throughout the day. It helps me, like, here's an email I just wrote. Does this sound okay to you? Does this have the right tone? That kind of stuff. So I had decided when I finished these 3 or 4 ads, and it's really 3, right? Because one picture is the same. And it was before I put the wording on there. So it was really just 3 ads I put in there. But I put the 3 ads in there, and I asked ChatGPT which one they thought would do well, and it said, oh, number 1, hands down, it's gonna be your best ad, and it's my weakest one. So it did not know. So yeah, there you go. All right. So one ad alone, I don't think I need to say, I wrote this up to kind of put it together. The ads themselves are clearly doing their job in getting attention. However, despite that traffic, I've only converted 2 sales still total. And I had 2 sales from last week. So that tells me the issue is not the ads, but the offer. And so I had to really sit down and think about, okay, it's a full price book. Ads typically do better when you have like sales and things like that. Also, this book is not in Kindle Unlimited. So I think that's like the takeaway, is that these ads are successfully identifying strong emotional hooks, but the overall system is not converting. And so the way forward for me was shutting off these ads. So that's what I've done. I've shut off these ads. I shut them off as of today because I did all my putting this all together this morning. And but what I can take away from it are the message insights. Like, they're strong converting ads. So like the next time, if I put a cursive scales and feathers on sale, I can use the strong ones from this bunch for my sale, right? Not only that, I can take away the insight from like the copy message on there. So these are the strong emotional hooks, are like fear and forbidden tension. That's kind of what I got from what's winning in the copy. So I can take that away and apply that for future insights. So the message on these are actually different from the other ads that I started doing. So I did 4 ads on this one. So this one, I started running ads when it was on pre-order, and was on pre-order for 99 cents, and it's still on sale for 99 cents. It's now launched. So I started with 4 ads, and before it actually launched, I knocked out the 2 weakest ones and went with the 2 strongest ones. Now, number 4 is still, to this day, is still the strongest one. And so what I did last week was I took the number 1 and number 4 ad, and I duplicated those. So I made 3 more ads for each of those with the same exact creative. The creative is what you see. That's the image with the text that's on there. The only thing I changed was the copy. So I changed what was said in there. So in both of these, they had 1 ad each before that said pre-order. So one of the copies that I made for each of them, I just said buy now instead of pre-order. And I kept the pre-order one going, but I think I'm going to shut that one off. But right now, those have the highest, figures because it has been running longer. I've also scaled these up since I started running this. So these were all $3 a day. It was $3 altogether, and I split it up, and I did $3 for each ad group. So it's 4 ads altogether: the original pre-order, the copy that just says buy now, and then 2 more that I just changed the copy. The copy is the write-up that was inside the primary text, is what they call it on Facebook. So that just says something slightly different for each one of them, just to see which message would hit more. And there's not enough there. I started scaling it up from $3 to $5, $7, and I just changed it to $9 yesterday. And I do have quite a bit in total. I saw 19 pre-orders, which is the most pre-orders I've ever had on a book. 29 total sales and over 600 KU page reads, which it's 155 pages. So it's about 4 books altogether, depending on how that works out. But sales peaked at launch though, and they dropped off over the next few days. So the ads are continuing to drive traffic, but I feel this is still successful at this point. So the CTR, so it's 8.59% CTR for number 4, which is, that's in the good range, and 9 cents per cost click. So anything under 10 cents is like excellent. So it's really, really good. And then the other one is 7.93% CTR and 20 cents CPC, which that's like good, but that's like on the edge of good and being okay. So I think that number 1, eventually I probably will end up turning off. These are both going to get turned off anyways, because when my 99-cent sale is done, I will shut both of these off. So, okay, that's what I have. That's where I'm at. So right now I only have these 2 running, the 1 and 4, but there's 4 ads each for each of those that are running at $9 a day for each ad set. So the $9 is split up between the 4 ads on each ad set. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me see. There's some talking here. Yeah, we've lots of great templates for various niche and genres. Customization is going to be very limited. Trade-off being lower cost. Yeah. And hi, Elsa. How's it going? Hope all is well. Ooh, advertising is my whole career when I'm not writing. So I'm nerding out over this. You're crushing it. Yay. Thank you. ChatGPT is freaking liar. LOL lies. You know, it's so funny too, because when I put those 3 images in there and I asked its opinion, in my mind, I was thinking that was going to be the weaker one. And it like picked that one and said, this is going to be your winner. And it was like, give me this whole reason why it was going to be my winner. And it was not. It's my weakest one. So yeah, never trust AI for marketing advice. AI isn't nearly as smart as people think, in my honest opinion. And I give it a specific URL, tell it to analyze or summarize stuff and quote stuff off the URL, and it manages to give me quotes from random places. I don't think I've ever done that, but yeah, not quoting specific URL I provided. And hi all, hi Dishley, look at the pretty pictures. Yeah, these are the ads. I was just doing my update on what I've done with ads. All right, so for my intentions today, find the right button here. My intentions today is now to do a whole new group of ads. I'm not going to start them yet because it's a bit early, but I want to go ahead and start creating the creatives, which is the images for my next book that's coming out. And that's this one here. This one's on pre-order, but it doesn't come out until the 24th of April. So I'll probably start running the ads about 2 weeks out, but I just want to work on creating those creatives. Like what can I pull from it? It's a lot of more like research work, and then you understanding what your story is trying to figure out like what would make a good image that's going to capture people, and emotions, tend to capture people pretty well. So I've kind of been working on the emotional angle on most of these. Excuse me. Adeshe has some waffles, man. Adelo needs more waffles. Hey to Andy, and waffles for Andy. So, alrighty. Let me get that media off. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get going here on the one and only sprint that we're going to have. Do I have the right number in there? I do not. Hold on. Let me change this number out. I put different banners up or like tickers up at the bottom with my word count, but I hadn't updated the one I use for Fridays. So now it's updated with the right word count, even though I've only written 1 day this week. So it's been mostly admin stuff. Get it? LOL. Oh, that cover is fire. I missed that part. Ooh, love the cover. Thank you. Yeah, I actually got the second book cover back, but I didn't like what they did with the S. So it's Starling and the Moonblade, and again, so I'm doing these through Get Covers, which I gave them like an example to kind of go off of for this one, and I swear that it's almost exactly what the example was, and I just really like this one, and if you could do something similar. And they did almost exactly the same thing they did with the Florist Budding Desire. They did almost the same exact one. So here's like the example that I gave them that I really liked. So and then mine are elemental. So the first one's with Sun, and I just got back the one for the second one, but the S is not very good. So they're doing a change on it. But I'll show you. So if you see the S, look at the S in Sun here. I love that S. It's pretty. And look at this S here. So this is the second book. And I was like when I'm looking at this, I see the T before I see the S. So I asked them, to change the S and make it the same and make it where, that is what's drawing the I and not the T. So I just asked for those corrections this morning, so I don't know when I'll get it back. But that's the second book cover, which I really liked. I haven't, but you see, remember I said they kind of go off of what you give them. I did up a mock cover. This was one of my favorites. I did a mock cover for all 8 books that are coming out this year in the series, and I gave him a mock cover of what I did, and I was like, this is just something that I did on my own. Oh, I forgot where I put it. I'll show you the one that I did. I love the one that I did, but I knew it wasn't good enough to be the cover that I sell the book with. So here's the one that I did, and I gave them this one to kind of work off of. But then I'm like, okay, they kind of just do the same thing. I'm like, I don't think I should give them any more of my mock covers or anything like that, because it'll be exactly what I have on there. But it's Get Covers. So that's what I'll tell you. Okay, the very first book cover I tried to do through Get Covers, because they're relatively cheap, right? And these are novelettes, so not full novel sizes. I'm putting them in KU. They're not going to be priced very high. So I'm not going to make back a lot of money. I feel like I'm not going to make it back a lot of money on these, like at least not up front. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. But the very first book cover I had them do was for A Curse of Scales and Feathers. And boy, oh boy, that cover sucked. I mean, I did not like it. And I realized at that point, you really have to know what you want and have some good images to give them. And I didn't realize they would just copy it. It wasn't until I gave them the Florist Budding Desire, which was last year, they would just copy it. But let me see. You guys know what A Curse of Scales and Feathers looks like. Oh, hey, I've got a side-by-side here. I've got the one that they gave me and the one that my designer ended up doing. But my designer's a little more expensive. She was $285. Okay, here it is, side by side. The first one is from Get Covers, and the second one was the one I ended up getting done. So, yeah. So, it'll look beautiful, the corrections. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I think it will. Yeah, the T is indeed much more visible than the S. And I actually loved yours. Oh, I don't think I'm very, I'm not I'm not a cover designer. If I had more time, I could figure it out more and better. But I like how they were able to do like that glow back there. And they also put a little curve in the sword, because the moon blade actually does have a curve. And I make that known in the story that it's the one sword that has a curve where everybody else's sword is straight. So I was like, if you could make it a curved sword, that'd be great. But I was like, you don't have to do it like mine. I told them, I said, you don't have to do it like mine. And they did. They did it just like mine. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I like the version you did of Starling, by the way. The new cover is good too, but the first Starling cover was nice too. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, wasn't that? It was terrible. And I don't remember who I showed that to. And someone's like, oh, it wasn't too bad what they did for Get Covers. And I was like, no, look at the one my cover designer did. And I was like, it's much better what my cover designer was able to do compared to that one. So, yeah. I got my money back on it. I never used that book cover for anything, because obviously I'm going to show you guys. But you know what they've come up with next is not so bad. I mean, this one was really good. I only had to ask for one change. The title, Wildfire and the Sun Prince, was gold, and it was beautiful. I had like that metal shine to it, everything. It was beautiful. But all of my covers have white / like silver writing for the titles, plus the name and the my author name and the series name was in white. And so I thought it kind of didn't quite go with the gold. And then I thought visually, like at thumbnail size, the silver title would pop out more with the gold above it and around it. So yeah. And I actually wanted, like I said, I wanted to keep the same border on there. And I thought it was gonna be gold. And when they gave this to me, I said, I want the same border. I was thinking that in my head. I was like, I said, I want the same border. Why did they change it to silver? But I'm like looking at it, I'm like, but I really like it. So, which my elements, I have 8 elements split into 2 per season. So 4 seasons, and 2 of the seasons are represented with gold as like their accent colors. And the other ones are silver by their accent covers. So I was like, okay, I'll just do all the 4 elements that are supposed to be silver. I'll do those in silver. And the 4 elements are supposed to be gold. I'll just do it in gold. So yeah. This is, it's the same designer though I'm working with over at Get Covers. So once he finishes that one, then he'll move on to the next one. The glow in the second version is nice. Yeah, I like the glow. Read Starling's cover. I have a cover brief template for my authors to collect comps and do analysis of genre, emotions, tropes, provide titles, communicate what they like, don't like, but we don't provide a mock-up. Yeah, and I mean, I do it because I like the arts. I like doing like art stuff. I mean, I'm making all my creatives, and I like doing that. I could like do that full time, but I prefer to write. So that's kind of a part time hobby. So that's why I do mock-ups. But I know most people don't do a mock-up. So get covers, just send a range of examples or no examples. Would that be your suggestion? I would. So far, what I can see, if you send examples, they kind of just follow your example. So if you see a book cover that you really like, but you're like, I know what I want to replace it. Because when I gave him that book cover, the red one, the original red one, hold on, media assets. When I gave him this one, I told them that there's 8 elements, and I told them that this is going to be for a series. So I need something that could carry over. So I said I would like a border design that can carry over with each book, and then I was gonna say I asked for only one change, but I did forget. I did ask for another change on this one. Banners, comments. At the bottom, they put the series title was all in capital, which that's actually what you mostly see is the series titles are usually in all capital letters. But I didn't start off publishing that way, and I would just want to keep it consistent across my brand, which is usually there's an article followed by the series title, and then that's followed by whether it's a novel, novella, or story, or whatever. And then the article and the last like adjective or noun. Sorry, it's an adjective. It describes what type of story you're getting, but it's a noun. And when you say story, novella, or whatever. But those are not capitalized, and so they capitalize all of it. I was like, "Hello," I said in the briefing. I was nice about it, I promise. In my head, I'm thinking, "Hello," I said in the briefing. Please make sure you capitalize this part and not this part. And they didn't listen to that part either. So the designers, I think they're kind of want to have like a way to like have their own influence on it. I think so. Yeah. We look at colors, fonts, images, layouts, yada yada, and it's been working well. I like the silver starling exactly because it has that moon, silver, sun, gold. I like that. Yeah, and I think that's it. It was like great to start off the series with the moon and sun element. I've always loved the sun and moon like themes, things like that. So the next one is air. So that's going to be tricky, but it's a mask. There is it's a air trickster who wears a mask, and it's an all white mask that covers everything. And there's a thief who's trying to steal the mask. So I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see how that. I think these 2 elements were probably easy for the designer. I don't know what they're going to do, but I said I want something about the element to be in the middle. So for your authors, what do you do, Miss Page? You have a lot of graphic design skills. Yeah, I'm jelly. I've worked on it my entire life. Well, I've worked in the arts my entire life. I've always been a painter. I've had offers for some of my paintings, but I've never sold any. I just appreciate doing art. Like I can do art and I can do writing. I can't sing because I'm tone deaf. So a rebriefing per my last email. I coach sweet romance authors. LOL. Oh, cool. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the thing. Did I say what my intentions were? My intentions are, I think I did say it. My intentions are to come up with some creative ideas. If I get some of the creatives done, then do that. I don't think I'll be able to get like a full, I want to do 4, but I probably won't get all 4 done today. And mostly today's going to be brainstorming what I want to do for what do I want to pull out of the story and use as like images. So that's probably what I'll start off with first. Can you dance? Nope. I am quite and I actually I know now that I have depth perception issues. One of my eyes tracks slower than the other, and I didn't know that until my early 30s, when I finally noticed that whenever I was reaching for things or whatever, especially if I was reaching for something up ahead of me, and I think I've got it, and I don't actually grab it. So yeah, I'm kind of a klutz. I used to say, because I used to teach college English and literature, and I would say on the first day of class, if I trip, it's normal because I always tripped. And then I would say it's a Coke addict, the drink. So, and that's great, Miss Page. So, okay, let's go ahead and get this first one going. 60 minutes on the clock. Thank you for everyone who's here. If you're still here at the end, let us know how you did on what you're working on. All right. In 3, 2, 1, good luck. And then it's time. How did you do? I spent the time working on writing up my copy for the Facebook ads I want to create for my next book coming out. So I decided to do three ads. So it's going to be one creative for each one. So 3 different creatives. Those are the images. And I wrote up what I want it to look like, when I want the image to look like, and what text I'll put onto the image. Then I wrote up the primary text. That's the text that appears above the image in the Facebook ads. And that's the second most important thing when it comes to Facebook ads. The creative is the first thing that will usually make people stop. Then they read the primary text, and then they'll go down below the creative, and there you have the headline and the description. And I felt like I was pretty good with like trying to figure out the image and figuring out the primary text, because I think I've got that down. I so far have seemed to be able to hit on the right emotions in the, for the 2 books I've already done, because I do have a pretty good click-through rate on most of those. But the headline and the description always gets me. So then I had to do a deep dive onto the Facebook ads library, because they do have a library of like all the ads that are running and everything like that. So you can just like, you can look up people like specific authors in your genre and see if they're running Facebook ads and what they're doing. You can also do it by the genre. And for some reason, romantasy gives me better results than just putting in fantasy romance, which fantasy romance has been around for a while. So I was just going down a deep dive rabbit hole of headline description. Now, those are like the 3rd and 4th thing that are important about the ad. Usually you got to get someone to stop first. That's the creative, and then the primary text. And the primary text typically has the CTA, but there's also a CTA button. And there's only certain ones you can choose from. And I think I always say, what do I always say? I have no idea what I always say. I have to go back and look at my ads again, but I always choose the same one. I don't know why I don't remember it. But I was looking at the variety. There were some that said learn more, download, which I don't think I use either one of those. Maybe I do use learn more. I don't know. I know I was taking like screenshots of lots of the different ads, so I could go back and look at it. Oh yes, okay. It says buy now, shop now, learn more, download. It's like all these different ones that the authors use. And I'm like, which one did I use? I don't remember which one I used, but I've been using the same one. I don't know if that button will make a difference or not, though. I don't think that's something I want to test right now. I think I'll just keep testing with just trying out the creatives and the primary text, because those are the 2 main things that are most important. But anyways, yeah, I was going through trying to figure out headlines and descriptions for all my ads. So I didn't do anything this week that is going to come up with anything new for reporting next week, but I will be able to report on the Facebook ads I do have running, which the only ones I have running still are the 2 winners out of the 4 for my book that has just launched, and it's going to be at 99 cents. It's going to stay at 99 cents until the next book launches, and probably like a week overlap. So that'll be that'll be the end of March, because the next book comes out, or April, sorry. The next book comes out April 24th. And so a week after that would be like May 1st. Right now I'm just running those ads to a 99-cent ebook, basically, and one that's also in KU. So next week, what I anticipate next week is that I will be looking at how those 2, so I have 2 ad sets with the same creative in each ad set, but just different copy. And then I'm going to look at the copy and see if I've got enough data back, because I don't think I have enough data right now for the 3 new ads I added to each ad set, to decide which ones are not the best copy and shut it off. And then that might actually help me in figuring out the copy that when I say copy, I mean the primary text. So the primary text that I want for these new ads, because these ones I won't start until about 2 weeks out. What is 24 minus 14? 10, April 10th. So around April 10th is when I'll start running these. So I have a little bit of time left to figure out the creative. And I'm pretty certain I know what I want to put on the creative as far as the word choices. But yeah, let me see, April 10th. Oh, that's like 4 weeks from now. So I have 4 weeks to figure out what is working with my current ads and apply it to these new ads. So, all right, that's how I did. How did you guys do? We left out with Miss Page saying that Elise Haynes and Katie Talbot are 2 of my authors that are rocking it, both on their second series now from 0 drafts 2 years ago. Wow. So they're writing pretty quick. Yeah, that's incredible. Right? JC heading out to run some errands now. Thanks for the stream, Shannon. Hope you have a great day and weekend. Thank you so much. Happy productivity, everyone. Mara says, I put some laundry away and started a new load of laundry. I'm upset at a few things right now, but trying to deal with it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally get that. I was like that yesterday. I wanted to be upset at stuff. And because I went to my pain management doctor and insurance changes. I couldn't get anything, no pain relief in the clinic while I was there with her. Because it used to be if she would do like trigger point injections into my shoulders and stuff. And this shoulder, I can't raise my arm up very high. And I can't really use it for anything right now. And it's my shoulder I had an injury on from the military. I was discharged for it. But yeah, because the insurance changes, now I have to go back in 2 weeks, and now I can get the trigger point injections and everything. And I was hoping that we could go like pretty quickly into setting up the steroid shot, like the lower back. That's like a whole procedure thing. It's an in and out day procedure, but I was hoping that we could set that up, but my x-rays and MRIs are 2 years out of date. So I have to go get more of those, which I have to do x-rays first and then the MRI. I'm like, oh Lord, I was jumping through hoops just for, for the insurance. And of course they don't really need the x-ray, but it's the MRI that they need to see how the spine is doing and everything like that. But you have to do x-ray first because the insurance says it, whatever. Anyways, yeah. So I actually I cried for a little bit yesterday because I was in pain and I was like, and I didn't get any relief. And I was like, I do have some like leftover meds from a surgery, but I so don't want to take any of those meds. So I was tempted to yesterday. And then I was like, okay, I gotta get over this. I've been looking into a content planning system for Hala and me to work easier together on the indie author news show. Oh, Elsa, if you want to drop your link. So Elsa did, she started a new YouTube podcast, like, what was it called again? I'm looking into Notion, but no, I forget what it's called. The Indie Author News Show. There it is. That's the name of it. And so if you guys want to get in touch with her, I know she's going to be like featuring events and stuff like that. So I know she mentioned the AuthorTube Writing Conference for later this year, and I haven't got a chance to watch all of it yet, Elsa, because I just saw it right before I was answering your email, and I looked at the time. I was like, oh, I only have like an hour before I go live, and I need to figure out my ad stuff. So then I had to do research on that. So finished all my work. Yay. Awesome. Congrats. Great work to Courtney. Yay. To Courtney, I worked on editing. That's hopefully you made some good progress. Idea to add an outtake section to my newsletter for scenes that are getting cut out of the series as I go back through the plotting and pacing. Some of them are great, but not sure if people like random. I think they will. My second book that I wrote, the one that I worked on like forever, it took me 17 months on that one. Took me from the time I wrote the first zero draft to the time my Kickstarter ended for my first book, it was 1 year. My second book, from the time I wrote my first draft to the time that I got ready to do my Kickstarter on it, was 17 months. And yeah. And I didn't finish. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that book, I wrote so much that I ended up not using because I don't know. That book was something else. And I have yet to cut out a scene on my third book. So, but my readers, where was I going with that? Yes, let me bring it back to where I was going, which is in response to what you said. My readers enjoyed getting that extra scene because there was like one scene I just absolutely loved it. It was part of the romance of the two main characters falling in love before the whole like the fantasy plot kind of took over because they each had like their own thing they had to do, which was not in the same, like they were against each other on that, but they didn't know that's what it was. But anyways, so part of their falling in love, I had a scene where they went to this forest, and it reminded me a little bit kind of like Avatar. Like if you touch the plants, things will light up. So Avatar in that way, except that when you touch them, they light up. They also released a pigment that when mixed with your oils on your skin or any sweat or water, it became paint. And they get there, like he's in dragon form, and he flew them there, and he can't change out of dragon form yet. And so she uses the paint to draw on him and draw sea creatures because she's a mermaid, and she thinks that's really funny because he's a dragon that's in the air, and she drew sea creatures on him. But anyways, I thought it was a really cute scene, but I ended up taking it out because it just made the book longer and wasn't really needed for the romance. So, and of course, he wasn't even in a human form, so a bit harder to have romance that way. And so, yeah, I took it out. But my readers, I shared it with them, and they really loved it. And I even had a few readers who responded to that email, and they said, "There's too bad. Can you find some way to get it back in there? This would be really cool." And I'm like, "No, the book's too long. It's 190,000 words. I don't need it back in there." So, I didn't say that part, but they did like it. So I think they'll like it if you put your your bonus scenes. They will love it. Yeah, it's a very good idea, Paige. Hey, Paget, how's it going? Hope all is well. Yes, I made progress. Awesome. And there it is. There's the first showing of the first airing, the first YouTube video of this show that she put together. Hi, Paget from Adeshale. The Author Tube Writing Conference and the Floor Spelling Desire are both in the show. I hope you like it. Oh, thank you. I didn't know if you did get the book in there or not, but I knew that you were going to definitely get the Author Tube Writing Conference in there, which is great. I remember that. That was a cool scene. Oh, you did. You remember that? She was covered with pigment. Yeah. So it was a really fun scene. But yeah. So yeah, I would say definitely share with your newsletter. They love that kind of stuff. I even in the third book, Zane is doing a ball, and he has some plants that were imported from that same forest. And so I was able to kind of get it in that way. And he's walking by it and touches it, and the pigment comes off on his fingers. And then he looks at like the servants who are setting up the ball, and he was like, probably move this one back out of the way. Because, in his mind, he's thinking people are dancing, they brush against it, the paint's going to be all over their clothes. And so I was able to bring it in that way. Sort of. It's not the same as like visiting and then, going through a whole art show, basically. Hi, Lainey. How's it going? Working on the new book this morning. It's morning here. Well, congrats on working on the new book. I only do the one sprint on Fridays. We did finish it up. And so I'm about to close out here. But and hi, Paget from Elsa. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Elsa, for the shout out for the book and for the conference. And if anybody else wants to pass on some information to Elsa that they can include in their show, I'm sure she would appreciate it. I'm eager to get to know Zane better. Are you? Paige, I have to say I'm a bit confused because I know you do you work with sweet romance writers, and I don't write sweet romance. And I always think it's like, does she only read sweet romance, but you read mine romance? But yeah, Zane is when I was writing Zane and Nira's story, I had more chapters in his point of view. And I was like, oh, I really need to balance this out. And I really need to get to know Nira better, which was really weird because in my other books, I knew my female characters always better than the male characters. But Zane has such a strong personality, and actually Nira does. And I did have, it just went through alpha readers, but only one got through to the end. And no, there was another one, but she was my Omega reader. So one new reader got through to the end. And I didn't know what she was thinking for most of the book because I do ask questions at the end of every chapter, but she would just write no comment, no comments, no comments. Sometimes she'd say something, and there's always positive stuff when she was saying something, but then at the very end, one line, she's like, I freaking love this book. I'm like, yay. I don't know how I can take any of her feedback though and use it, but I think she was just along for the ride. Oh, wow. A bunch of comments here. Hi, Lainey from Elsa. Oh, well, have a good day, everyone. You're welcome. Although they're like two fantasy authors I follow, but I'm a super fan, so I buy everything you put out. Oh, thank you, Miss Page. Thank you so much. I didn't realize that. I know you said you liked it, but I just kept feeling like maybe it wouldn't have been your jam. So, and hi, Lainey. How's it going? Oh, yes. I have a link to the form to submit news and videos description, book release info, book crowdfunding, and writing events are all welcome. But don't volunteer to do reviews because that would confuse the algorithm. I totally understand that. Yep, totally understand that. So I've gotten in a group where we're trying to, do reviews for different people, not each other's, but just to help other authors out. And some of them I'm looking at them and I'm like, that's not really my genre. And I would read it because I like romance and I like fantasy. I was like, if I read a fantasy book, but then I go leave a fantasy review, that might confuse things. So, because there's a lot of different people in the group and different books out there. So, but okay, let me say goodbye. I will be back again on Monday for anyone who is here. That is the long day, marathon Monday, 1 hour sprints, most of the day. So yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone so much for coming, and I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.